What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now today I will play test on the Mizuno Alpha 2 made in Japan. Now they make small changes to the boot itself. There isn't that many changes, but the changes that they do make kind of add to the comfort and just make the boot fit a little bit better, even though like the fit on the previous model was already good. And today we're just gonna test out the performance, obviously. And this is my first time wearing the boot, so I'm gonna let you guys know how they feel like straight out of the box and stuff like that. The field is like covered with a little bit of snow, and last time I did my other play test, the Copa, it was frozen, so it may feel a little weird, but yeah, we'll just get right into the video. Alright guys, so here I have the cleats on feet, and yeah, these feel fantastic. They fit a little bit better than the previous model. The previous model did fit me pretty good, but I find that this second generation, like the toe box fits a little bit better. There's more like wiggle room in the toe. It does come to a point, but it doesn't feel very narrow. Like the fit is great in the toe box. The midfoot, again, there's a decent amount of width, so if you do have a bit of a wider foot, these will actually fit a little bit better than the previous model. As you guys can see, I don't really have that flaring that I used to have in the previous model, so that's kind of good. In terms of sizing, I would recommend going true to size, just because they do fix the sizing. There isn't that much space. There's a little bit of space, but not a lot compared to the previous model. And yeah, the heel feels comfortable, and yeah, overall the boot just feels comfortable. The field is frozen, unfortunately, so hopefully my cleats dig in pretty well and I don't slip, but yeah, we'll see. Right now I'm just gonna juggle and pass the ball for a bit. Alright guys, so I have been juggling and passing the ball for a bit, and yeah, you know, these feel pretty good. They kind of feel similar to the previous model, but they kind of feel just slightly thinner, at least because the cage, like the foam cage, there isn't much like cushion or like sponginess to it. It's a little bit thinner compared to the previous model, and so you kind of feel it just a little bit. I feel like you just have to like really just notice it. Other than that, they kind of feel similar. But yeah, so far they feel good. They kind of still feel kind of plasticky. I guess there still is some more break-in time needed, or they just might feel it that way, just more of a raw synthetic. Like, I don't have any discomfort whatsoever. The midfoot feels fine, like it feels perfect, no pressure points. And yeah, so right now we're just gonna do some ladder drills and sprints. Alright guys, so that's it for today's playtest, and the Alpha 2 is just amazing. I did forget to like record in between like the shooting and like the shuffles and all that stuff, and so I didn't really talk about the performance or the stability. And so in terms of like performance, like this boot actually like performs good. Like the Alpha 1 like performed great, but this one just feels a little bit more structured, and it just like there's more like stability. As you guys can see, the upper, you know, it's a bit softer, it's a bit more pliable, but it still has more of a structured feel compared to the previous model. Like it's still, you guys can see, kind of more pliable than in the beginning and the unboxing, but like it keeps its shape pretty well, and you know, it does a really good job of just holding your midfoot like really well. Like there is no movement in the midfoot. Like my foot felt really secure, and so performance on this boot is like slightly better than the Alpha 1, which is kind of crazy. I feel like they just reinforced the upper and just made it more structured, and so it feels really nice. And in terms of the fit, like this boot has like a like it's not snug, it's just like it like wraps your foot really nicely without like squeezing it, and but it feels very secure. And especially with the liner, like the Zero Glide technology in the like liner, it just holds your midfoot. There's no movement whatsoever inside the boot. The heel was excellent, you know, good amount of padding, it's nice and comfortable, no movement in the heel whatsoever. And yeah, the sole plate, you know, it does feel a little bit more flexible, but it's still responsive, you know, it's still snappy, you still get that responsive feel. And so it's not as stiff as the previous model, but honestly you can't really notice it, you don't feel it. It's still responsive, like I said. Like the fit of this boot, for me, I like it more just because there's a little bit more volume in the toe box, and so it feels more comfortable there. You guys can see it kind of is a little bit narrow, but because of that higher volume toe box, it just fits a little bit more comfortable, so I really appreciate that. In terms of the touch, it does feel a little bit more raw, it's more barefoot. There's no real padding to it whatsoever. Like you do have this little bit of a foam here in the cage, but it is thinner this time around, and so you don't really feel that same like dampened feel as in the previous model. And yeah, overall, like I just really enjoyed wearing this boot right now. For me, it's probably gonna be my boot of the year. I know it's probably early to like say that, but the Alpha 1, I just enjoyed wearing that boot, and this one's just slightly better in my opinion. I feel like the only annoying part of this boot is the tongue, where it just slides a little bit to the side. I just wish they implemented that like double lace hole here, or like, I don't know, that insert here, like in the Morelia. It will just prevent the boot, like, or not the boot, the tongue from sliding side to side and exposing there. It's just a little annoying. They could have fixed that, but they didn't. But that's just very something very tiny. I'm just being nitpicky there. But yeah, that's it for today's playtest. If you guys have any questions on this boot, just let me know down in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you're notified for the full review of this boot. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.